Tag Show.
With Jenna and Blue.
Damn. Now, here's your host,
Jenna and Blue Magic.
What's going on? It's the Mix Tag Show with
Jenna and
Azul.
Woo.
Kicking on the flow.
Stop it. Just because we
Pocket.
leave it in there. Just because we got a little special guest going on doesn't mean you're a rapper.
Wait, how was your week?
But nothing.
How
My
was your
voice is back. Are you happy that my voice is back?
Welcome back. Where's the applause button?
Oh. Yeah. We have a different layout.
I see. We're sitting kind of different now.
Well, we gotta move our stuff in here. You know, we packed our stuff from the other room.
Yeah.
So we had to put our pictures and stuff.
Yeah, we
Make it
started
a little
doing
bit
that.
make it a little bit more
A
cozy.
little bit more home. Get a plant right here.
Right here.
Put a plant.
Yeah, I remember to water it. My week was okay. You know, hanging in there. It's December. It's the first week of December, so you know what that means, right?
Christmas shopping.
Well, no, but you know what that means.
It gets cold.
No.
It's the time for Christmas. Almost time for Christmas. The Christmas holidays.
Correct. But we are wearing.
Oh.
Can you see? Can you see what we're wearing? Does the camera got us?
You'll see the pictures on Instagram.
Does the camera got me? See? Okay.
Run the place.
Hi.
Um.
The boss. Legit boss. Yes, we're wearing our Christmas sweaters.
Yeah.
So all month we're gonna wear our ugly Christmas sweaters that the WWE shop sent us.
With.
Thank you guys as always.
Came in as fresh. So fresh is so clean.
You know, but how was your week?
It was good. Had my son this weekend.
Nice.
Spent some time.
Again.
You know I love having him around. So I had fun with him, and then I was dog sitting for my cousin. So the dog was there for the weekend too. So my son is like having fun with the dog, and I think I have to get him a dog now.
You should. I love my dogs. I miss my dogs. Every time I see another dog or people talk about the dogs, I always miss my dogs. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I want to go home to my dogs now.
I'm sorry.
No, it's no big deal. You know.
But other than that, it was a pretty interesting week. It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, shout out to the WWE shop for always keeping us laced. If you like this man's AJ Styles knit beanie and what are you doing?
I was pop lock. You just never realized.
Anyway, and his AJ Christmas ugly sweater. And if you are feeling my Sasha Banks sweatshirt.
Legit boss.
Legit boss. You got the money
Boss.
sign. You got a little diamond there. You got
The iced out, the 24 karat snowflakes
right.
dropping.
I thought you meant my chain. I'm like, this is sterling silver. Yes, you can get this all at the WWE shop if you click the links provided in our YouTube description.
Yep.
Right? There's the link tree link. You click on it, you'll see WWE shop. You also see our Patreon link, right?
Yep. You also see a Patreon link.
That
We need to shoot some exclusive.
Blue said we
gotta shoot some exclusive
Every
content
week.
for.
every week.
I'm waiting on your schedule.
No, don't do that. Do not do that.
I'm on your schedule.
Don't you do that, because I'm always, all the time, I have to be on you, all the time.
What you doing Friday?
I told you what I'm doing. That's why I told you if you want a link.
Sure, let's link up on Friday and shoot
Because
some
on
exclusive
Friday, God willing, I will be heading to iPlay America to go see the man,
content. In Jersey.
Becky Lynch. Also, you can go, if you don't watch us on YouTube and you follow us on our social media page at the Mixed Tag Show on Instagram or Twitter, or you follow our personals at Miss Jenna Baby, BAYBEE, or
Blue Magic Grind, spelled how it sounds.
you can find our link tree in our bios, and then you can click on the WWE shop link to get your very own Christmas sweaters. Why? It's that time of the year.
Yep.
'Tis the season or whatever.
And you're gonna be hitting up those ugly sweater parties, and you don't want to wear the same one, so you know.
Right, you don't want
switch it up.
So then when people are like, hey, you're supposed to be wearing an ugly sweater, and you're like, I am, but it really isn't.
Because it's fly.
Flies from the WWE shop. Get yours. And then, all the great holiday sales they have. I love this time of year because the shop always has, like, the craziest sale. Like, just the other day, they had, like, a crazy championship title sale.
Right. Shout out to those wrestling girls. They used our link this past week.
Shout out to them because I saw their story.
Yeah.
See, we should. You know what? We gotta start getting more guests on the show because I'm tired of talking. I like to get more.
Well, we got a
women.
guest today.
We do actually.
Josiah Williams.
Give him applause. Or you should drop a bomb like, exactly, like Flex, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Because if you know who Josiah Williams is, if you don't, his name is JD Williams on Instagram and on Twitter.
Yes. And he also has his other page is Wrestling Flow.
Yep. N, the letter N.
With the letter N, correct. And if you guys aren't familiar with Mr. Williams, he is the overnight sensation, right?
Yeah.
Overnight sensation that remixes your favorite wrestlers and superstars because of his WWE entrance music.
Yep.
So he does his little. Well, he doesn't beatbox, but I was
He
trying to
spit that flow.
There you go. I was trying to associate
like he did in the
rapping.
skit, but then like I had bars too that nobody didn't really want to
So
it's the mixed
Josiah's gonna
tag
be on the show in a bit. We're gonna
hit
talk.
you with
We're gonna talk to him. My voice is back, so I can overtalk you.
Damn it.
He will be on the show later on, after we recap or what have you.
Bars later.
Right, and we'll get to talk to him a little bit, pick his brain about wrestling and the whole nine.
Yeah,
so
his
I'm
career
excited.
and everything.
So shout out to him, and
now it's time for the draft update. Hit us up.
Pass me the ball.
Now send it over to Miss Jenna, baby, with the draft updates.
So it looks like in the lead, Bob, we have.
Bob, though? I gotta be Bob.
Yeah, Bob. You just need the headband like this, dude. Anyway, Bob, it looks like the winner for this week is TKO. TK Crew with 110 points. Next up is Petty Club Worldwide with 98 points. Evolution with 92 points. New Generation X with 88 points. Rich Fam 83. Undisputed Nation of Domination 64. And Knight Riders comes in last with 48 points this week. So in
Not rigged.
total, still in the lead overall, Petty Club Worldwide 2,807.5 points. Second is Knight Riders with 2,452 points. Third place is TK Crew with 2,360 points. New Generation Next in fourth place with 2,051.5 points. Evolution up next with 1,644.5 points. And we have neck and neck. Undisputed Nation of Domination with 1,321.5 points. And Rich Fam Kev. 1,320.5 points. So what separates them is a point.
That's close.
And let me tell you something. Phil's Undisputed Nation of Domination, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's bad, man, because Kev's pick really, really
Out there.
right.
What's going on? I gotta look at these score sheets with like how his team is doing.
I'm just
who he got? Like,
let me take a look real quick who he has because this is kind of crazy.
like I thought when we was hearing it, he had a good squad because he picked some people that people wasn't picking.
You know what it is, and the wild thing is he had McIntyre. McIntyre was killing it at one point.
Right.
You know what it is? A lot of his picks don't show up.
Like
That's-
Shinsuke.
He doesn't have Shinsuke.
Oh.
He has, like, for example, like he had Samoa Joe, and then he was constantly losing to AJ. And Andrade he shows up and doesn't show up. War Raiders, Candice LeRae. Rusev, his thing is dying out. Titus Worldwide, Keith Lee, and then Rey Mysterio. He just started coming on to.
Yeah, that's a lot of holes in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of holes. Is the reason why he's not he's not performing well.
Creatively, I know where he was going, but WWE doesn't make sense sometimes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was our draft. So we'll see, because it's coming to an end, right? Because Royal Rumble. Do it again. Royal Rumble's coming up. Actually, do the crown noise.
The what?
The crown, like the royal. Royal Rumble is coming up soon, so I believe that'll be the end of our draft, right?
Yeah, so we gotta put that order in.
No, well, you don't have to wait because we need the coin.
When is Royal Rumble again?
Soon. Very, very soon.
First half of January or second half of January?
Like more so the second half.
Okay,
But it's coming soon.
We gotta see how long it takes to deliver too, right? It shouldn't take that long.
Anyway, so let's get into, as you put it, my show.
Yeah.
So what did you think? They switched up the
formation?
Not necessarily the formation, but just the flow of it. Just because, right, last week was apparently the worst Raw ever, right? So instead of starting it off with the same 6 or so guys, they decided to take a page out of SmackDown's book and have the women start off the show first. And it was heavily relied on the women.
For the first 45 minutes, yep.
Exactly. So what did you think of the opening segment?
I liked the opening segment. I wish they gave them an hour like they do the guys. Like, let them have the entire hour to themselves.
Yeah.
The whole Rousey and Natalia thing, that was kind of like, to me at first. They try to do the Bliss Open Forum again now. I don't know why.
They try to do what?
The Bliss Open Forum with the Boston Hug connection.
Well, before we actually get into that, in regards to like Nia and all of them, it's actually happened later on in the show when Nia and Tamina were getting interviewed.
Right.
Well, more so Nia because they always have
Tamina.
She's the silent enforcer.
But she talks like even on the Total Diva, she's hilarious. Like to me, like she's not hilarious, but like anyway.
She's on Total Divas too.
Mm-hmm. She'd be showing up with Nia and Naomi because they're family.
Oh, but she's not like an
she's
actual.
No, she's not actual. She's like supporting cast.
So I like that. I thought it was better what they did with Nia or how Nia was. It was just very serious and
aggressive.
No, not aggressive. Just serious, cold, and very intimidating.
Right.
And that's how I think she should be. Just not making jokes, overly arrogant, smiling. Just I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
Right. And that was much better. And I think I think it's a little too late because I think we're already like whatever with her. But it should have been as soon as she knocked out Becky. That should have been it.
Right.
That should have been her whole gimmick. But I like how she redeemed herself. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late, but she did redeem herself. But yeah, going back to what you were saying in regards to the whole open forum thing, it was cringe. It was cringe, and I hate to say that because my favorites involved,
right?
What have you. But I don't think it.
Boss time!
I don't think either party performed well in this segment.
They didn't, and I also didn't. It kind of threw me off about Alexa Bliss because she seemed pretty happy that Boston Hug won.
Yeah.
And it's like, so is this like the face turn they trying to prepare for? And she also stopped the heels from jumping them.
Yeah.
So it's like, where are we going with Alexa Bliss
and
now?
Even backstage when Ronda approached her.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like.
You're right, like friendly and
Yeah. But until otherwise she's still a heel, so it's kind of like you can't trust her.
Right.
Right. But she held her own. She's always someone I know you don't necessarily like to give her credit.
No, I give her credit sometimes. I just think that sometimes people overdo it with the credit.
She did what she can with the forum. I mean, you know what I mean? There was even a couple of jabs she
got back at Sasha. And I was like,
Sasha
you can see Sasha's face too, like
she had nothing for
she
her.
wanted to say something, but she's like, okay.
Did she? I don't think she had anything. To
Yeah,
say.
I don't think she was like waiting on it, and then the time.
No, I don't think she had it.
No,
I
no,
don't think she had a comeback.
I know, not at that moment. No, I feel like she had one because you kind of seen her face, and she wanted to say, but people were talking, so it was a little bit too late in the segment. She couldn't catch it. She was like, I'm like, damn.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nope, they already
A little
moved
bit
on.
quicker,
They already
yeah,
moved on.
Be a little quicker than that. And then there was that one part where she was like, "What? What did she say? Alexa was like, I'm the leader of the division or something like
Right.
that. Something like that. She's like, I didn't say that. Basically, along the lines, Sasha was like, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
So it was just like
It was
really awkward.
awkward,
It was just weird.
Yeah, I still got heat. Like, what's going on?
And then it was something that Bailey said. It was awkward. And I mean, I guess they're still pushing the whole women tag team titles. I don't know how this is
supposed to play
out with this open forum, them talking about it, but I don't know. You know what the thing is? They're hyping Sasha and Bailey up with this whole women tag team titles. Watch them lose.
Right. That'd be the exact point where Sasha turned because they lost.
If you're party creative, that'd be the move.
Y'all can steal my ideas, you know.
Please.
Hire me later. Take them now
At
to
least-
save us.
At least for that, right?
Yep.
But yeah, so that was pretty much how Raw started off.
How you feel about the whole Ziggler McIntyre split? Like that.
Well, it goes back to the debate we had a couple of weeks ago. I think McIntyre is more than ready, and this is just now, he's showing his talent. He's good on the mic. He's a talented wrestler.
Right.
Very skilled, and it's showing the WWE universe. If we're not people who are not familiar with him, his personality, right? And
Right.
I thought that was I like the segment with them honoring him and what have you. In regards to Ziggler, at first I was a little confused because I'm like, well, aren't they doing Balor and Drew?
Right.
But then Finn came out and attacked or helped Ziggler, so I guess the feud is still on or what have you. But I liked it. I didn't think anything of it.
I didn't like the fact that they could have pushed Drew without making Ziggler come out and say, "Hey, what about me?" kind of situation. Because now I feel like he's gonna be dead in the water, just like Aiden English was. Like you could have let him still be like that's still my friend to me or whatever the case may be. But in this match that happened, also I didn't like that McIntyre lost his first pinfall submission in this manner. Because if you're trying to build a monster, right? Like, you don't let him get distracted too much like this and then losing to...
But, I mean, not everyone's going to can't have an undefeated streak. I know he's not undefeated because he's been in the WWE before, but you know how they think we don't know stuff. So, right? And they kept bringing that up, that this is the first time he's been pinned or, So, not everyone is going to be undefeated. 1, 2, it goes back down to what your argument was a couple of weeks ago. You were like, you said he's not ready because he's in the tag team and doing this. Now when you're separating him from Ziggler and letting him like fly on his own, this is what they're doing. I think it was time to separate him and Ziggler.
But I thought that separation was already like, it wasn't like, defiant, but like the moment that he started hanging around with Bobby and Corbin, you didn't see Ziggler around. You didn't like, to me it was just like, all right, that team ended, but they're still like, an accomplice to each other.
Well, I mean, but the seeds were already planted when when it was Braun them, and it just seemed like Ziggler was the weak link, right?
Right.
And Drew is this dominant big guy, and he wants to get that wax sauce off of him. You know what I mean? It's just like, I used you for what I needed you for. Now it's time for me to, do some damage in the division. So. I really don't have an issue with what they did with Drew. I was very happy though. You don't have it here, but I'll bring it up. That Finn actually had a really, really good night, right? Because he came out quite a couple of times, huh?
It worries me.
You told me that. Why is that?
I don't want them to recreate Balor Club with Finn, Ziggler, and Elias, and I have like a stomach feeling this is where it's heading, like kind of thing. Because after he helped Elias, and Elias looked at him and was like, he kind of nodded at him. He threw him the too sweet and walked away. I'm like, yo, they better not trying to create the Balor Club with these two guys.
Interesting. That was right over my head. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know about all that, so I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. But I'm more happy the fact that Finn had a really good night.
Right.
It's been a while since Finn was featured in numerous of segments, and not
Yeah.
only that, actually won. And it's a shame. Again, we always talk about it. I think a lot of people feel this way, that Finn is a top superstar.
He is.
He legit is could be the face of the company, but they're not utilizing him that way. So it's nice to see that he had, his shine on.
Yeah,
him.
he has a lot of character, even as a face or a heel, because I've seen some of his heel work, and it's just like he has a lot of character that you guys just not using. You
You're
gotta,
not tapping into that,
right, like
yeah.
you just have him walking out smiling. Like,
Yeah, so, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
did you like Dean and Bane?
Ah, see, you have that there. It was cool. The segment was alright. That they finally, broke out into a brawl, and Dean still one upped him, Seth. So it was cool. It was nothing to write home about, but it was better than last week.
I like the character change look.
I do too.
Like the whole leather jacket
And
with the
that-
chain
yeah.
and the mask.
Yeah. And then the slight change to the music.
Right, and,
So-
and the squad come out with him and everything. Like,
Yeah, so maybe they continue with that, but I liked it. It now that shows development, right?
Right.
I still don't know what Dean's issue is, but at least we see some type of development, and it's not too silly.
right. Yeah, looks like a villain. Like,
Yeah, exactly. How would you rate Raw?
I'd give it like a D.
Yeah.
They tried.
It was much better than last week. I'll tell you that
it's
much.
but the funny thing is, it's the same thing they used from last week to this week. Only thing is
Just switch the
order,
order. Yeah,
and then Dean actually showed up.
yeah.
That's the only difference.
But then it was with like Baron and Elias and Drew. It was more separation. It
Right.
wasn't like, you know what I mean, all of them in one segment. That's why I said it was better than last week. But you're right, it's still the same old, and I'm like, you're trying to do the whole switcheroo on us, and now it's
Saw
still,
the intelligence again.
it's still not a good, wasn't a good show.
What do you give it?
I give it a D.
And the people give it D minus.
D minus. SmackDown.
My show. I love the opening segment with the women. Like you said, they always start off with the women. I feel like all three of them was pretty good on the mic. Not all three. Becky and Charlotte went great on the mic, and I love that they let Asuka talk. How did you feel about that?
I actually don't think all three did well on the mic. I think Becky did, of course. Something about Charlotte seemed forced. And I felt like Becky, it always reminded me of that moment of NXT when Sasha was the heel and Charlotte was the face, and there was that one moment that Charlotte, like, I don't know if she forgot her words or whatever, but she had nothing to say, and then Sasha was like, "That's what I thought," and walked away.
Right.
There was something, the awkwardness of this promo that, like, Charlotte was trying to recover from.
Right.
It just sounded too forced, and I didn't feel her.
I think I'm so used to Charlotte talking that way, like the whole long pauses and stuff like that. It probably went over my head as well.
Maybe, yeah. It's just like it's just.
Because she
it's-
loved pausing in her talks. I don't know why.
Maybe, I don't know, to get her point across, but like, I realize I like Charlotte, but I'm just like, whatever.
Well, I'm scared for Asuka because we all know Becky's not losing at TLC.
Do we know that?
Yes, because just by the graphic alone, you'll see that it's her holding the title in the eye, and that's brand new. So I don't really think they're changing that anytime soon.
They can change that real quick.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Only reason why I'm not so sure that she won't lose is just for the simple fact, everything is up in the air right now in regards to WrestleMania. There's a very good possibility that she can enter the Royal Rumble and win. You know what I mean? So I can't really tell you, yeah, she's not dropping the title. I don't want her to drop the title. I would love to see, let's say, some way, somehow, like Sasha comes over to SmackDown and maybe they face off at each other for the title at WrestleMania, and you continue whatever feud with Charlotte and Ronda. But I'm not so certain that she's gonna hold the title.
That's the route I see. I see them maybe finding a way to get Charlotte to Raw, just to contest with Ronda at WrestleMania. Because like we'll talk about it later in the hot topics, but there's some changes coming around, so you have to run what you can right now on Raw. So that's why I just see it that way. Lynch is SmackDown right now.
So yeah. So what do you think about Daniel Bryan and his new heel
Fire,
turn?
fire. You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Of CM Punk's Straight Edge.
Straight
I'm
Edge.
Better Than You
Except
segments.
But it goes to with the whole vegan thing, right? A lot
Right.
of the stereotype with vegans is that they're just like they're earthy and
Right.
they think they're better than other people because they eat
Yeah.
better than us.
Right. And they don't eat meat and
And I was like, damn. And I thought about this. Like, if they ever turn, you always got to think about with superstars, right? Not everyone doesn't always stay a face. They always got to, or doesn't always stay a heel. They always got to do the turn.
right.
And I always thought, like, how is Daniel going to get this one over? Is he going to be the silly heel? Like, how is he going to get people over? And as soon as I saw him come out, I think it was for Survivor Series,
Right.
I'm like, oh, he's not going to do the yes. He's going to start it and then, play the crowd. And sure enough, that's what he did. But I love this heel turn.
You know what I also love? The fact that they have Miz helping him. Like, that's like the unholy alliance between, like, everybody was thinking this is going to last a whole year. No. Now they're accomplices to each other.
And that's the whole thing, like, the unpredictability.
Right.
Right? Like, yes, it's nice sometimes, like, we get what we want.
Right.
But if we can make it unpredictable and just, like, throw us a curveball and it's interesting, that makes it good.
Yeah.
But I was just really, really, and the funny thing was I was falling asleep during SmackDown, not because I was bored, but I was just really tired. But Daniel Bryan kept me like my eye was still open.
Yeah.
Watching him and seeing what he was doing.
Did you hear him on commentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, like him and Graves, like Graves buying into it, like, yeah, I want to eat clean like you.
Yeah.
Like, it just helped the character all around.
And I'm like, yo, is this gonna be the new chant? Fickle.
Oh, yeah.
Fickle.
Yeah, that joke is annoying, but it's a good annoying. Like, it really works.
Yeah.
And, of course, Styles and Miz had a pretty dope match that a lot of people didn't expect to happen.
And then Daniel Bryan whooped that boy's mind. And I love that whole stomp. I wonder if that's gonna be like part of his like moveset.
Right.
Where he kind of like when he grabs their hand.
Yeah,
and
and it stopped you down.
Yeah. But what do you rate SmackDown?
I give it like a B.
I say B too.
And the people says B.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
We didn't really catch 205 Live, did we? Did you?
No, I mean, the thing is with 205 Live is just like they're really good matches, but there hasn't been any captivating storylines. It's like WWE so all over the place. There might be one show that has really, really good wrestling, and then one show that has really good storylines, but maybe not enough wrestling, and then one just doesn't have any good storylines or wrestling. And the other one has maybe it does have good storylines and maybe good.
Yo,
like,
catch one or two good matches. Like,
did you piece which show I was talking about?
Yeah.
NXT is the one with good storylines but not enough good wrestling,
Right.
except for TakeOver. And 205 Live is like the one with the really good wrestling with no storylines.
Yeah.
Raw is whatever.
Yeah.
And SmackDown is like you have
A good balance.
balance,
a little bit of it,
but
you
not
need
maybe
more.
not you exactly.
You need an extra hour for it. So that's what I was saying earlier. I was talking to G. I'm like, to be honest with you, they didn't take the hour away from Raw and give it to SmackDown at this point. I feel like SmackDown will utilize it a whole lot better than that Raw does.
I love 3 hours of wrestling. I know some people think it's just too much. I genuinely like the fact that Raw is 3 hours, or you know what I mean. But
they don't give you enough good content.
And isn't it weird too now that it's just ending at 11 and the dot? Because they like when Ronda and this one won, it was just weird.
Ronda and Ember.
It was just nothing. There was no swerve or anything. It's just so many problems with Raw.
And I feel like, just a sidebar real quick about Raw, I feel like they're focusing a little bit too much on Ronda. Just a little bit.
I mean, I feel like you said that.
I just want to say it again because her main eventing Raw was just like, It wasn't about Amber. It wasn't about Naya or Tamina.
I hate that you call her Amber.
I said Ember. I make sure to say Ember around you.
Didn't.
I said Ember. But yeah, just I knew it wasn't around them, and it's just like it bothers me. I don't know. NXT.
Well, I mean, I thought it was better. It is better than what they did last week. Like, and I think I don't know who I was talking to about this. It was just like I'm hot and cold when it comes to Ronda. Sometimes I'm for it, and sometimes I don't hate her. I definitely don't dislike that she's there. I do like her somewhat. I'm just waiting to see more growth from her.
Right.
And then sometimes I feel like, yeah, I'm feeling it. And then the next week I'm like, this is cringe. I don't know. And then I watch the match and I'm like, and then then I see the match. I'm like, oh, okay. It's just like up and down with me for Ronda. So, well, go ahead.
NXT, did you catch anything?
No, I mean, but the only thing was quote unquote, the main event with
Right.
Ciampa, Gargano, and Aleister Black.
Yeah, I guess I heard that was a pretty good moment. But also, I caught a little bit of NXT UK, and Fabian Archer and Mark Adams had a great match.
Yeah.
Yeah, to kick off the show. So if you get a chance to watch that, I gotta watch the rest of the UK.
When I go on vacation, I probably have to just binge watch. But,
UK.
Yeah, but you have a poll question for us.
I have a poll question. If you could pick one person from the main roster, NXT or NXT UK, and give them a push, who would it be and what kind of push?
I mean, I think you already know who I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And I think we'll talk about it a little bit more just because of the debate question.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel Sasha Banks is your complete package when it comes to a superstar, right?
Right.
You have the looks, right? Like easy on the eyes, great in-ring ability. Her promos are hit and miss. Like, I'm not gonna even be biased about it, like, because the past 2 weeks with the open forum thing was very cringe. But then she has her moments where she does well.
Right.
Right.
I think it's all in the segment because
I think it's all in the segment too. It was just an awkward segment, so it was just like, what can you really get out of someone in those type of segments? But it's consistently popular. Sells merch. I just don't has a great gimmick, and I just don't understand why we haven't actually really seen the legit boss on the main roster. So if you ask me, would be that person. And then Finn Balor too. I know you said one person, but it's just with those two. Those are the two superstars that should be really, really the face of the company, and they're not utilized as that.
I'll go with Velveteen Dream.
Okay.
I feel like he should be NXT champion right now.
Mm-hmm.
The way his buzz is, give him a little more time on screen, and prepare him for the main roster. Because I feel like a lot of people feel like they're scared for him to go to the main roster. That's somebody I'm not really scared to go to the main roster. Only because his character is a little bit like. Don't get me wrong, I have my hesitations because we know what happens when you go on that side. But I just feel like with his character and the way he just like dedicated to the whole the whole thing together, that he could be a major player.
He could be, absolutely, and he is a major player. But when it just goes back to what you just said. When you go to the main roster, I just named two people that are major players, but are not utilized as that, right? And when it's all said and done, Vince McMahon has the end, saying everything.
So I would send him to SmackDown. I will also send Nikki Cross to SmackDown.
I would like. I would like to see Velveteen Dream on Raw, though. Like, put aside the whole creative thing. I just feel like when certain characters that I think would work, he would work on Raw.
Right.
For me. But, you making the noises again.
What? You was just knocking us. I'm trying to make sure I don't hit you.
No.
I have long legs. Like, my knees.
Here.
I'm old. My knees. But, yeah, Nikki Cross I would love to see on the main roster helping out Sanity. I think that's the missing piece with Sanity is they're missing their chaotic sister.
But your debate question is your poll question is about push. I know you want to see Nikki Cross on the
and I would
roster,
push her like to see her
but
build.
push her what, like as the top female?
No, not the top female, but she could be in the conversation amongst the three. Like to see her have a match with Charlotte, see her have a match with Becky or Asuka. They had a match with Asuka before, and it was amazing. She had a match with Becky, and it was amazing. So I feel like she could be in that conversation and if it's a fatal 4-way, she could. If she walks away with the title, you can see it happening.
Interesting. All right, but that's our recap for the week.
Yep.
Let's get into our interview with Mr. Williams.
Josiah Williams. You got sit on this side. What's going on? We're here with Josiah Williams,
What's up?
a.k.a.
What's
Jay
happening?
Dean, a.k.a. Bars for Days,
Wrestle and flow.
a.k.a. your favorite wrestler's favorite remix of songs.
There you go.
Oh man, I like that. What's going on?
Yeah,
What's going on,
It's
man?
a good introduction.
I've been working on it.
I know.
Just like my bars.
Not your,
Like,
not your bars. Nope.
no,
Nope.
put them back in my pocket.
Nope. Let's get to the interview.
My bad.
He's a busy, superstar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So what's up, man? How are you?
Man, I'm good. I am enjoying this little, time after
Stardom,
work.
fame. Oh, okay. Oh, time after work. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fame.
Chill.
Do you got like people in your DMs? I was in your DM and you kind of, I got the curve, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm over here asking about people in the DM. I'm like, wait a second, I was in the DM.
Oh man, don't tell them that. I did not ignore you. No.
And so
It is kind of weird though, like to have like my phone buzzing all the time now of like people sending messages and reacting to stories and videos, and it is weird, but it's cool that people like it, so it's cool.
So has it been basically mostly a positive reaction? I would hope so.
Yeah, which is a surprise because wrestling fans are ruthless.
Right.
Yeah, yes they are.
Yep.
Wrestling fans are angry at all times about something.
We've witnessed that
Absolutely.
firsthand.
Absolutely.
So before all this started, like, were you a quiet person, like, always in the background, or were you always like a performer?
No, I've always been a performer. I started out acting actually when I was 3 or 4.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, I went to a lot of schools that were a couple of schools that were like arts-based schools, so music, dance, drama, all that. I went to college for theater. I started making music in college. I MC different events, so like I've always been kind of on stage somewhere. But I am an introvert. Like I really don't like people.
I'm with you. That's where I'm at.
He's like that too.
This is why this is all kind of still new to me a little bit.
Oh my
but
God.
we gotta do what we gotta do, right? We can't deprive the world of our gifts.
Right.
That's funny. They always say like the people who are like gifted and talented like that tend to be like introverted and just to themselves. That's weird.
I think a big part of it is like because it can get overwhelming. Like if you're on stage or if you're doing stuff all the time, when you're off of that, you want to be done. You want to relax, chill, and that's when other people are trying to interact with you at the same time. So it's a lot, but
it kind of makes sense when you put it like that. It's like how the wrestlers are always talking about like when they're at the hotels or in the airport. It's like they shut down. They're the real person. You know what I mean? Like once the lights are off, it's like leave me alone. Thank you, but leave me alone type thing. So that makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
Right.
So.
Even think about like when especially at least in WWE, where even when you're not on stage, not in the ring, there's probably still a camera on you backstage because you're filming for like the network or something or for social media. So there's like you're never off camera. It's a lot.
Well, you're a famous guy now. You have to embrace it.
No.
He's like, nah,
definitely not famous.
No.
You're almost there. You're almost there. You got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube now.
You hit 1 million on
You hit 1 million on Spotify.
Saying that's nothing to sneeze at. But where did the concept of wrestle and flow come from?
I've released pretty much an album a year for the past few years.
Oh, really?
And and I got to a point where it's like, man, I'm really out of material right now. Like I'm not like the people who can just go in the studio and get 20 songs out. I can't do that. And I kind of wanted to do something in between time. And it's always really been an idea, but I wanted to do something different. So a lot of people who are musicians, take the YouTube approach where they'll cover somebody's song, or they'll just put out their own stuff and throw it on SoundCloud, throw it on YouTube. And I wanted to do that, but do something like with a twist, do it differently.
Right.
And I love wrestling. I love music. I figured there's a way to kind of like combine both of those. The way that, everybody else does their YouTube thing. So I had the idea for about 2-3 years, and then one day I just finally decided to just start remixing stuff. I did about 7 in 1 week, and then figured out a plan to release them, and yeah, that was it.
So do you produce the audio, like the tracks yourself, in terms of like the remix of the intro music?
No. Like I'll record them myself. Like I do all that on my own,
Right.
But I'll send it to somebody else to mix it and master it. And if it's not like an original, if it is an original beat that's not somebody's actual theme song, then I just get that from somebody else.
Okay.
Either like as an exclusive or just lease it. But no, I'm not a producer at all. I can't do that.
So you said you love wrestling and you obviously love hip hop and what have you. So you combined the two. So when did you fall in love with wrestling?
I think in middle school or maybe elementary school, but I want to say middle school. Like I loved it, but for a while I couldn't watch it. So it was kind of a distant thing. Yeah.
What was that? Why couldn't you watch it?
Because my mama was like,
I
Was this during the Attitude Era?
Say what?
Was this during the Attitude Era when it was like really bugging out and like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she associated wrestling with.
My mom was like, "You date
so
this to women?"
Yeah, she wasn't knowing. She was not feeling it. I had to wait until like the John Cena's and Batistas came around.
When he went PG.
It was a little watered down after that.
A little bit. It wasn't as like much as it is now, but it's still a little bit.
Right. Just enough.
So who's your who back then who was your favorite wrestler and who's currently your favorite superstar now?
Back then. Say that again.
Or wrestlers in general, if you like watch other promotions, maybe not just WWE.
Oh yeah. So back then it was Eddie Guerrero, Batista, and Shawn Michaels. Throw in Kane and Randy Orton. I just go down the whole roster. Now I would say Drew McIntyre. I would say Bianca Belair.
Nice.
And still Randy Orton.
Really?
And yeah, for sure. Marty Scurll.
Marty, villain.
Yeah. So you like this whole thing with Randy Orton, and he's just sick right now.
Randy Orton's incredible.
He's putting his hand in people's earlobes and stretching them,
twisting it around.
Yeah.
Right.
Using screwdrivers and all.
I'm not gonna even front. I used to like Randy a lot when I got back into wrestling. Like he was just that. For me, I felt like there was a bridge between maybe Attitude Era, but just like he wasn't so clean cut. You know what I mean? When it got watered down and what have you. So yeah. I like that little edge from him. So I can see that.
I think similarly, Edge was like that too.
Right.
He was somebody who wasn't, Bailey, but still had like that kind of grit to him at the same time. So yeah, it was good.
Right.
What's your first memory in wrestling?
What's my first memory?
Yeah, of wrestling.
I don't know what my first memory would be. I know the most significant one was the day that Eddie Guerrero died. I don't know what the first one was, but I remember that day. I remember I had a white tee on, and I couldn't stay up. Like my mom wanted me to go to sleep, so I had to go upstairs, and I couldn't watch the rest of the episode. And I took off the white tee and I drew Eddie's name on it and then wore it to school the next day. I was upstairs crying, mad for multiple reasons, that he wasn't alive and that I couldn't watch the episode. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that I can remember early on.
So that's an important moment in wrestling.
Oh yeah. Definitely. And it was difficult.
I remember I cried as well. when I first seen it, and I had an Eddie Guerrero poster on my wall too. So like,
Yeah.
I had a poster on there. I'm like in my bed, I'm looking up, and I'm like, what just happened? Like,
Yeah,
and
it was wild.
Just one of those moments that I still get goosebumps to this day. Like when you watch the recaps, and like when people like bring up Eddie Guerrero, and you see how good he was back then, and it's just like,
yeah,
too soon. Too soon.
For me, I had taken a little break from wrestling, but when you hear stuff like that, it's just like you know that person, you grew up watching them, and then just to hear, you think they're invincible, right? Like they're not gonna die or something, they're gonna get injured, but they're real people. So it's definitely.
And I think it's kind of scary now. It could be. I think of it the same way of like my family members. Like I haven't been to a funeral in a while, but a lot of people are sick.
Right.
And I feel like at some point, soon, it's, I am going to have to go to a funeral for a family member. Right. And I kind of think about that with wrestling of like, man, there hasn't been a major incident or major, situation like that that's happened in a while. I mean, of course, we've had a lot of legends that have passed away, but we haven't had something that like breaks you and shocks you right away.
Right.
So I'm hoping that does not happen anytime soon.
So with that said, so obviously you have a love for wrestling and you have a love for hip hop and what have you. So when did you realize you love music and hip hop, and who's your favorite artist?
I've always loved music. I have a big family that listens to a lot of music and that also are musicians themselves. So I have my mom who did a lot of like talent shows and stuff growing up and just has always loved music. I have uncles who have like been background singers for, like Babyface and people from back in the day. So I've always
know about Babyface.
I didn't even know that until like a few years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'd say, in general, my favorite musicians are John Legend, Bruno Mars, Janelle Monáe, kind of that like R&B that crosses over a little bit.
Right.
As far as rap goes, it's so wide because I listen to a lot of different styles of rap. I would say a blend of Kendrick Lamar, Lecrae and Andy Mineo, and Drake. Like between the four of them, like a lot of artists have been influenced by their style, and they just have their own thing that I love.
Right. Absolutely. I definitely was going to ask you who was your favorite Christian rapper, because I've seen you post a couple of those up, and we've talked about a few of them. I was going to ask you who's your favorite Christian rapper.
I would say either Andy Mineo or Trip Lee. Probably Andy Mineo, though.
I think Andy Mineo got it. He did a show out here in New York, and it was so amazing. Like, just watching the graphics and how much he puts into his lighting and background and just the artistic vision of it. And it kind of like you said, Bruno Mars is one of your favorite. I think Bruno Mars is like the best performer in the world.
We just became friends.
Wow.
Like, I feel like Bruno.
I thought we okay.
I feel like Bruno Mars is like, because I know a lot of people say Beyonce, and come on, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm the people's person.
No, you're
like,
not. But okay.
But yeah, I know a lot of people say. I know a lot of people say Beyonce, and not take nothing from Beyonce. She's a great performer.
Wow, you have the beehive coming out.
I know I am.
I don't need that. We're trying to get blow up.
Show, I have said nothing wrong about Beyonce on this podcast.
I love Beyonce.
I love Beyonce, but what I'm saying is the way Bruno put his shows together is something magical.
You know what it is, too, also about Bruno that I really love? And there was a time that I liked him, but I was mad at him because during the Grammys, I'm a huge Justin Timberlake fan, and that 2020 Experience album was fire. When he didn't, I don't know if it was the Grammys or what award show, and Bruno Mars won, and I was like super tight about it, but whatever. But no, I respect the whole like bringing the 90s back, because anybody who knows me, I'm like a 90s head. So that with the whole 24K magic and all that, with just that flow, killed it. So I agree, guys. I agree. I'm included.
Yeah.
So with wrestling, right? What do you currently watch?
Mostly WWE product. I'd say Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live. I have a subscription to New Japan World, and I also catch clips from Ring of Honor, but not a whole lot. But that's pretty much it. I've been telling a lot of people who follow Wrestling Flow to like send me stuff if there's anything that I'm missing out on that I need to see.
Right.
But yeah, mostly stuff on the network or on USA.
So why is it so hard for you to follow Ring of Honor?
I don't think it's hard. I just don't think I have.
Right.
Like, it's not a matter of like if it's hard or not. It's just I don't think I prioritize it.
I can say that the same thing for us.
Yeah.
Because ever since we started the podcast, it's just like you said, mostly it's WWE, but it's just finding the time when there's Ring of Honor air, and then like you said, prioritizing to watch it. But quick question:
Right.
Raw, SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Thank you. Thank you.
No one's disagreeing. No one's disagreeing.
She's a Raw girl. Don't let her fool you.
I'm
You seen the skit?
I'm a person that's for a good product. Like if Raw sucks, I'm gonna watch SmackDown. SmackDown sucks, I'm gonna watch Raw.
But what flag are you waving?
I'm not waving any flag right now.
See, look. That's what when the show declines. We'll put this down for a second.
So when SmackDown was bad all last year,
it was still better than Raw, in my opinion.
No, it wasn't.
I thought SmackDown was great last year.
See, look, see?
Now y'all both tripping.
Nah.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, so
you can do the whole BFF thing, whatever.
Nah, like, SmackDown was just a little bit better.
No, it wasn't.
Last year, SmackDown had a fresh Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
Bobby Roode. Randy Orton when he was healthy. We had...
Kevin Owens.
Say that again?
We had Kevin Owens.
Yes. Had Kevin Owens. It was just like a perfect time. The Usos were like just starting to rejuvenate.
But we're talking about... Okay, but before the draft happened, or the superstar shakeup happened this year,
mm-hmm.
There was a period where SmackDown started getting weak again. So it wasn't good. It wasn't consistently good.
But we're talking about the drafts, like the drafts.
No, we're not talking about the draft. You just talked about.
When the brand split happened, right? Those people that he named were part of the brand split. They were the first people online that started.
Kevin Owens wasn't in the first brand split.
Kevin Owens on Raw.
Kevin Owens.
Because you had the friendship thing with Jericho and Owens. You had Charlotte and Sasha killing it for the majority.
Okay, but out of 7 people, was one person that wasn't there.
What Raw was better than SmackDown, especially with all those people that was there. The only one that was keeping SmackDown afloat was AJ.
Yeah. Nah, because like you said, that's when the Usos was doing their thing.
The Usos did more so their thing recently, not when the brand split happened.
Yeah.
See, listen, you know what? See, I don't want to school y'all. It's whatever.
Yeah, it was because that's when they dropped the colors, and that's when they had just freshly helping out Roman, so they was getting all those boos, and then that's when the brand split happened, and that's when they started doing their whole penitentiary thing. Like, that's fresh of Usos that you're getting right now.
That wasn't 2016 when the brand split happened.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if it's 2016. I know for sure 2017.
Of course, yeah, it was.
That's what I'm talking about last year.
But that's not when the brand split happened. It happened in 2016.
What? It was when in 2016 it happened? Like
2016 after WrestleMania, and then the only reason why I know this because I'm a huge Sasha Banks fan, and that was a huge year for her, Charlotte, and what have you. So that's why that's very like vivid in my mind. But yeah, Raw was back in 2016, like early 2017. You just said last year
SmackDown was not that good.
But I said to Superstar Shakedown or whatever it's called.
Shakedown.
I legit
all right,
said
let's
that.
move on because
I legit
we'll have to do a lot of fact checking.
With me, sir, if you ever catch the show,
mm-hmm.
This man is consistently wrong, and I have plenty of people tell no one's ever told you I'm wrong.
Yeah, they
It's
be
always
tweeting
him.
them,
There's
no.
a few people that told me I'm wrong.
No one has ever told you that. You're just trying to say face in front of your new BFFF.
Okay.
But that has
So,
never
so
happened.
in other words, I gotta be careful what I say to make sure like my facts are right.
Because she'd be like, no, it wasn't that.
And it's wrong. It'd be wrong. Anyway, with that said, we can all agree that right now SmackDown is the better brand, though.
Yeah.
But in regards in general, like the product, do you feel like a lot of times we definitely complain on the show about how the product is very lackluster? Do you feel the same way? What do you think could change? Like, what are you looking to see more of?
I'll go in reverse order. So I love what NXT and what NXT UK are doing. And I think I love it so much because they're trying so hard to like showcase newer stars.
Right.
So the feuds, the storylines, everything that they're building is based off of we got to get these people to know who's in this ring. So it just feels more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I love that. I think with Raw, so, injuries and illnesses and everything else aside, I think the priorities are hard to read.
Right.
Like with booking. And I think tag teams, as much as I want, to see some dope stuff from tag teams right now, it's just not as exciting as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've created this system where, the guys who we want to cheer for, we can't even really cheer for because they've been either beat so many times or they're in a storyline that's just like, why are they in that storyline?
Right.
Bobby Lashley should not be bending over,
Right.
the camera.
Exactly, showing his rear end. Finn
Right.
Balor should have had at least a decent championship reign. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like SmackDown.
I think
they have good tag teams too that they could have used in perfect positions, and they just squandered that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where in SmackDown?
No, on Raw.
I mean, man, at the same time too with SmackDown, like
He didn't get to SmackDown yet.
well, but you had just said SmackDown, so I was.
When I said Raw,
You said SmackDown as well.
I said Raw.
Right,
I said Raw. Did I say have Raw has
You
tag
just
teams?
said SmackDown
Because you're talking
too,
about Raw.
but then you said SmackDown. Like you
When did I
always
say, when did
you
I say
said
SmackDown?
it. You
We'll rewind it later. But
we
continue.
rewind it. We never rewind it, and
We
then
are,
and then
this time I have to edit.
then I'll have
I'm
my
super
friend
duper
tell me
ignorant.
you said this. Okay.
I think
Sorry,
those
sir.
are
I apologize.
my
Continue
favorite
what you were
people to
saying.
listen to. I forgot what I was talking about.
Now, you're just gonna go to SmackDown and see what you like about SmackDown and the product.
Well, I will say past tense. I loved that I was once excited about seeing what Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, The Miz, AJ Styles, etc., Jeff Hardy would all do on this brand together.
Right.
And as much, I still do think that it's the better brand, but the same issue of on Raw, Finn Balor should be here.
Right.
And I think on SmackDown, Samoa Joe should be here. I feel like, I don't know. I think in general, I get more excited about SmackDown, one, because of who's there, and two, because there's just a different energy. Like, Becky Lynch is on SmackDown.
That's it. That's it. That is the
man
conversation.
is on SmackDown.
That's it.
Right.
Fire remix to her theme music,
Oh,
by the way.
thank you. Yeah.
I was definitely hype about that one, and Sasha definitely hype about them. All of them are dope, but
So of all the remixes that you've done so far, which superstar that retweeted you are you like, oh my god, I can't believe this just happened?
The Kenny Omega.
Right.
I'll say. So, each one, when anybody interacts with it, I'm like, that's crazy. That's still crazy to me. But, Kenny Omega is something different. That's like a musician trying to tweet, like Beyonce. Like Beyonce interaction.
Yeah. Right.
And
that's what it felt.
It makes sense too, because I don't think, like WWE superstars are, more interactive, right, on social media as opposed to, New Japan wrestlers and what have you. So to get Kenny Omega and Tama Tonga and Marty Scurll and all of them, that's pretty dope.
It's crazy. I mean, like, I could go through everybody and say the exact same thing. But yeah, that was the most, I think, surprising. Of like, man, first of all, you might even be asleep because you somewhere over in Asia.
Right.
And 14 hours ahead or behind me. But
You still
yeah,
saw it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's dope. So, how do you feel though? Like, not because I noticed like you have like quite a few wrestlers, pretty dope wrestlers at that following you. Like, is it nothing now, or are you still be like, oh, this person's following me?
Yeah, it's definitely still that. It's not like I look at my phone. Oh, that's dope. No, no. Each time somebody new either follows me or whatever it is, it's still really, really cool, really humbling. I still sometimes, like everybody else, kind of go through that, like, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I even good? That self-doubt, that self-frustration, all that. And having people follow and send a DM or whatever and saying how they feel about it, or just in general, just talking to me, it's like, man, I feel like regardless of what anybody says, I know I'm doing the right thing. Right. And regardless of what I feel sometimes, I know I'm doing the right thing.
So I saw you was running a campaign of trying to record Mia Yim's new song, right? New entrance. How's that campaign going for you?
That was an unsuccessful campaign.
Oh.
The CFOs responded, and they, that James Harden meme where he's like at the mic and then looks and then walks away.
Right.
It was that.
They hit you with one of those?
Damn.
Oh. But even Mia Yim said that she would like you to do it though.
Exactly. I'm like, look, whenever they are ready, I'm gonna do it. But,
so, who do you have in mind to remix next?
There are a lot of people that I have either done already and I'm holding on to, or that just thinking about in general. I know one challenge that I thought about recently that I haven't done is Buddy Murphy from 205 Live, which would be dope. Velveteen Dream would be dope. Wink, wink.
I want to see you try to do like something like Bailey's. Can you do Bailey's entrance music?
Yes, that is happening.
Okay,
sure. There we go.
You heard it here, man. Heard it? Did they hear it here first, or
yeah, heard it here first.
Yeah, No, I'm just saying. Like, I don't know. I don't know if he mentioned it to anybody else. Don't correct me, Blue.
You looked at me though, so
I'm asking.
So I answered.
You showing out in front of company.
Oh my god.
You showing out in front of company.
Oh my god.
My company.
Right? I done told you about that. Making me look bad in front of people.
So do you plan on doing any old school wrestlers music?
Oh yeah.
Like any throwbacks?
Absolutely. I tested one throwback that wasn't really a throwback. It was just like, one that hasn't been used in a while, which was Drew McIntyre's first theme.
Right.
And that was just, within this past decade.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you thought about doing Eddie Guerrero?
I was going to say,
I've thought about that, and I'm scared to even touch that one. Like, there are a few that I'm like Samoa Joe's. It's gonna happen, but I'm so scared. Like, I have to channel the greatest rapper ever to do that.
Right,
right.
The
Rock's theme. Like, if I ever do that,
I'm requesting it. That's my favorite wrestler ever.
I feel like if you do the Rock's theme, you would definitely get attention from the Rock.
Absolutely.
Because he's very social.
Could you imagine?
Like, yeah. The 100,000 subscribers would jump to 1 million subscribers.
We're putting it out into the universe right now.
Yeah.
Look, if you do the Rock's theme, let it be like from the Attitude Era thing. I'm requesting it. I'm not telling you. I'm just requesting.
You don't like
so
the
not
guitar?
The like 06 remake, like the old school one.
Like the 99, like 2000 when he was like the face of the company when
it was like the Rock said. That one?
Yeah.
Refuse.
Yeah, you know,
Sorry, I'm just thinking about my.
She's a rock. She's like
It's my
super
guy.
rock.
It's my guy. Those are the two I'm requesting: The Rock and Eddie. You did
Okay.
Sasha already and killed that one, so I
That
just
was
need
a
to.
fun one to do.
You want to do another woman?
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot. I have an Alexa Bliss one that's planned. That's gonna be really cool. I want to get my hands on the Bianca Belair instrumental, and I can't find that anywhere. Like there are a lot of ones that I just take, and maybe there's like 2 or 3 seconds that I can loop.
Right.
And in her theme song right now, as it is, there's not a good spot to do that.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see.
So do you have any, besides that, any projects coming out that you want to discuss or that we should look out for?
No, this is really it. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of in between projects, like of my own music, and I just don't want to be that person that rushes stuff.
Right.
Like, I don't want to tell you, hey, I got this album coming out and it don't come out.
Right.
Like, I don't believe in that. So this is pretty much my focus right now. I've mapped out like 2 or 3 smaller EPs just to, to test myself and to do stuff with. But I want to do those right too. So those are going to be like next year. And then hopefully at some point, being able to actually release this stuff officially and not just like on a YouTube channel. But
Right. Are you planning to do any features from anybody on your EP?
yes.
You locked some in already?
Yes.
Can you say?
No.
I knew it was coming. I had to try.
I'll say this though, like and I say this all the time. I am not the first person to do this, like the wrestling and rap
Right.
kind of crossover. So that's a good hint at.
I already picked it up. We'll talk. I got. Okay.
Oh, okay. The BFS looking.
No.
Okay. All right, that's our show.
She like getting up, leaving.
Right, exactly.
That's it. I'm done.
It. Whatever.
Are you gonna go to the NXT event tomorrow?
Oh man, and I wish.
I
wish.
teased
So
me.
NXT will be in Milwaukee, which is where I'm from. And 1, I got work, and 2, it's sold out. So even if I couldn't work,
Right.
Do you plan on trying to go to WrestleMania or any other big events?
I've thought about that, and I'm considering it. I know that it has to be considered very quickly because that stuff, at least all the good seats will start selling out real quick.
Right.
But the reason that I've thought about it is because of the what are they called? Like the conventions that happen in the area at the same time. Yeah. I think that would be worth it, of just like connecting with a lot of other YouTubers and people who are on Twitter, people who are on Instagram, just influencers, I guess. And then just some of the wrestlers that I've like spoken to that still haven't met in person yet.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely a good look.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a great weekend between NXT, Supercard, WrestleMania.
Yeah. And they just switched it too, right? So NXT is gonna be on Friday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then Supercard Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll be definitely a eventful week, to say the least. So, but
crazy.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure having you on.
It was an honor.
It was an honor.
Oh man, no, thank you guys.
I mean,
and I have to say, since this is gonna air, I have to apologize. This was supposed to happen before today, and it didn't happen, and that's my fault.
Nah,
so
everything happens for a reason.
It happens for a reason.
Because her voice wasn't like this last week.
It was shot. Like I couldn't talk. I had a flu shot. I sounded like.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It worked out the way it needed to. So. Perfect.
And we gotta do it again at some point. Like,
absolutely.
For sure.
Maybe hopefully you can come out here and we can actually have you in the studio.
Yeah. So if you want to go ahead and plug in your social accounts, your YouTube account, and everything like that, this is the time right here.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
D Generation X.
My name is Josiah Williams, and I thank you for tuning in. You can follow me at J Dean Williams on all social media platforms. It's the same, and then at wrasslin Flow, which is on all social media platforms, the same as well. Check us out on YouTube, and you can listen to my personal music on Spotify. And hopefully, one of these days, you'll actually see me on either WWE or Ring of Honor or New Japan or somebody.
New Japan.
Somebody
Someone.
cut the check.
Eventually.
Cut the check.
That's it. We put it out in the
Let's see.
universe. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Putting it out
that's
in the
right.
universe.
All right, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And that was Josiah Williams,
That was really fun.
J Dean.
J Dean, your BFF.
He's the homie. Like, he's cool. Like,
Hey, he's very cool, but I just
we both like Christian rap.
it was just like you guys, and then I'm just here.
Introverts.
It's the Josiah and Blue show, apparently.
Nah, you just hating. It's okay.
I'm not being a hater.
It's alright. I told you I'm the people's people.
Yep. Sadly mistaken, but let's continue. Let's get into our hot topic.
Hot topics. XFL return date and location has been announced. XFL will be here February 8th and 9th, 2020.
You know why I'm excited.
Because Vince got to go away and focus on the XFL. Yay! Where's my draft button? They're talking with the NFL to figure out how to make their schedules not clash and how to use their old people that they're not using. They also announced the cities that will be involved. Would you like to discuss that part?
Sure. So the cities that are involved is Dallas. Well, the cities that are involved are Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
This is the park in Arlington.
Globe Life Park. That's
Park.
the stadium.
Got it. Houston is another city. They'll use the University of Texas.
Yep.
Los Angeles, New Jersey, that surprised me when you have here MetLife.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's major.
Yeah, St. Louis, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Washington, D.C. So, we got quite a few cities here.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're talking to the NFL, make sure their schedules doesn't clash, so that way when they use the stadiums as well, it's available.
I find that pretty interesting that they're actually even talking to the NFL in regards to that, because I feel like with the NFL, like, what? Like,
I think they see them more of like an entertainment than sport.
okay.
They probably don't like, they're not a threat.
The controversy with NFL, you don't know.
Right.
Right? You never know. But go ahead. What's the next one?
Bray Wyatt might be stepping in for Braun Strowman if he is not able to go against Baron Corbin at the TLC. Strowman has successful surgery, but is uncertain when he'll be ready to return.
See, I don't like that they're going to do that for Bray. Bray, he's been gone for a minute. He deserves to be, input somewhere a little bit better than that, but whatever.
Yeah.
John Cena wins the Sports Illustrated Award. He won the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. He has granted nearly 600 wishes for Make-A-Wish Foundation, more than anyone associated with the program.
You can't argue that. Congratulations to that man. He definitely deserved it and earned it.
Ronda Rousey heading to SmackDown. According to Wrestling Inc., Fox is asking WWE to move Ronda over to SmackDown. You okay?
Yeah.
Fox feels that Rousey's mainstream popularity will bring more eyes and credibility as an athlete to Les Show. I'm French. Les Show.
I see you've been using that a lot lately.
Yeah, I'm not French, actually. I am Afro-Latina. Go ahead.
This also backs the previous reports that Fox wants less comedy on SmackDown and more sports-based in order for other sports programs to cross-promote SmackDown. How do you feel?
I agree. I've never been too much of a fan of comedy reliefs in WWE. I can never really think of a time that I've been for comedy in WWE. I'm really trying to think of it.
None of the Rock's promos?
But the thing with The Rock was funny, but he was also serious. Like, there's a difference between being funny, but it was never a comedic relief.
But you're PG, so you gotta have some things for the kids to enjoy as well. It can't
Kids
be like
can enjoy. I mean, people like, for example, Bailey is for the kids, right? It's not necessarily she's comedy. I just honestly, ever since I've watched wrestling, I've never thought of I've never been in favor. That's why it took me a while to get a warm up to New Day because they was just so silly.
Right.
Like I've never really cared for.
I was about to
many-
ask you so much. You didn't watch WCW.
You keep saying that. Like I didn't watch it on the regular, but I from
Like-
time to time.
Like Disco Inferno. That was like.
I know Disco Inferno was. Disco Inferno was, but it wasn't one of the people. Like if I was watching WCW, it was because of Goldberg
Yeah.
or NWO. You know what I mean, to a certain extent. But I remember Disco Inferno. I remember the video games and the action figures with him and what have you. Don't play me like that. Like I don't know.
I'm just saying. You said you wasn't a big fan of WCW.
But that
So.
doesn't mean someone didn't watch it. Now I tell you, with ECW, I never got the chance to really watch because it wasn't on TV. Like you get what I'm saying? Like
It was on TV.
but it wasn't like on
National TV.
exactly where I can tune into that.
You have to wait 2:00 in the morning to watch ECW
And I
on
was
Saturday nights.
and exactly, and I wasn't. You know what I mean? It's kind of like with Ring of Honor. I'm not searching for. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I would
I
have
had to-
loved to watch.
ECW I have to watch with the volume down so my parents wouldn't hear the cursing and the craziness that was going on.
That was me
like-
when WWE went to like TNN, and my mom told me I couldn't watch anymore after Rakisha did the hosting face to Stephanie.
Oh yeah.
That's when I was telling Josiah when we were
Yeah.
talking to him like I had to.
That's how I
cut.
understood. I understood when he's like, my parents didn't watch. My dad was a big wrestling fan, so he let me watch wrestling.
Yeah.
But I know if he saw ECW, he'd be like, all right, this
Yeah,
is the.
this is bugging out.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back, we went off topic a little bit. I just never really been a fan of comedic relief in wrestling. So, you know, if something is funny, I don't mind. But when you're constantly like just silly and not being like whatever, I've never been a fan of it. So I agree. To be honest with you, I don't necessarily agree about Ronda going to SmackDown because then it's just another logjam.
They're right. That's why you saw me make the face
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Now you're forcing people to go elsewhere, and it's gonna. I already see you're gonna create a ceiling
Yeah.
for so many other great athletes on that
Exactly.
side,
And
they're athletes already. So
And if the whole thing for SmackDown is the land of opportunity, she doesn't need an opportunity.
she doesn't.
So it's just kind of like, especially when again, our favorite, right? I want her to go to SmackDown.
I do too. And if she goes over there, I don't want her to go anymore.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? I want her to flourish on SmackDown. I could see quite a couple of feuds for her, and I didn't even mind having Bailey go over there too. You know
Right.
what I mean? Move Charlotte there. You can keep Becky and Naomi and Carmella. Maybe bring whatever. Figure that
Figure
out.
it out.
But yeah, I would prefer those two to move over to SmackDown.
But I realize I realize they like to keep 2 and 2,
What?
like two
Horsewomen.
2 horsewomen to 2 horsewomen on each show.
We'll see. But what do we have next?
Jim Ross addressed the All Elite Wrestling involvement. I found this was very interesting because there's some things that he said was kind of like an eye raising.
Okay.
He said at one point it was Chris Jericho and me, which I thought was really stupid. Me and Jericho are going to spend all the money we've made over the years into the wrestling business. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? Then it was we're not involved at all. It's these other guys who are movie movers and shakers. There ain't no move here, folks. There ain't nothing to shake. And then his second quote, I don't know if you want to read it.
I think activity, whether good, bad, or indifferent, will escalate in the new year. TV networks are already in decision-making mode because I know those talks have been ongoing, but I'm not in that loop. I'm not pitching to anybody. I don't have a job. I don't work for them at this point in time. It's either not going to happen because the best TV situation could not be earned, or it's going to be big.
I felt the part when he said, I'm not in that loop, was a slip up. Because it shows that he's involvement. He's like, I'm not in that loop. And then he tried to cover up with, like, I'm not pitching to anybody. And I don't have a job. Of course you don't have a job because you're still signed to WWE. And technically, legally, you're not supposed to have those kind of conversations. So I felt like that little slip up to me was like,
Well, I mean, just in general, I find it really hard to believe, like, Chris Jericho, especially, like, Chris Jericho.
the biggest stroller.
And no, not even just Jim Ross in general being involved with this, just because again, they still have ties with the WWE, especially Chris Jericho. Like it's not like the relationship soured or whatever. So I don't know. I'm intrigued to see if this is actually true. It's just all he said, she said, and what have you. Like I'm not saying that the All Elite Wrestling thing is not true. I just maybe the names that we're hearing may not necessarily be a part of that.
I thinking that little line, I'm not in that loop makes me feel like he had some kind of involvement in there.
Silas Young signs a new deal.
Yep.
Yeah or no?
Yeah, he signed a new deal. Just not with the NXT or WWE
There
like
you
people
go.
thought. He signed a 3-year deal with Ring of Honor. He confirmed it over at PW Insider.
And the only reason why he was backstage for WWE because he said his son, or I don't know if he said son or daughter. I believe son is a big fan of the product, so that's why he was there.
Impact pulls LAX from Evolve show. Impact didn't want LAX to lose to NXT stars Street Profits, who are currently Evolve Tag Team Champions. Evolve has stated they will no longer do business with Impact Wrestling.
Wow. HBO special on a wrestler coming soon. Which wrestler is this?
Kenny Omega.
Cleaner.
The Cleaner is coming with a new documentary in 2019.
That's pretty dope.
That's big.
Yeah.
Brody King signs exclusive deal with Ring of Honor. He starts his TV tapings on December 15th. He was previously reported to be on WWE's roster, on radar. I find it very interesting that Ring of Honor is just snatching up all these people that WWE is looking at.
Yeah, you gotta make your product better, right? So you gotta sign the right people.
Real quick about the Impact thing, I just remembered. Impact actually was kind of saying that they didn't want LAX to lose to WWE's developmental characters.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like you just gonna play out Street Profits like that? Like they're not professionals?
Yeah, but I understand it.
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway, major changes are occurring for WrestleMania weekend. PW Insider reports that NXT will now be held on Friday,
Yep.
April 5th, as opposed to the normal Saturday. And the Hall of Fame will now be held on April 6th. What's also happening that Saturday?
Supercard, Ring of Honor, and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
So you don't have the reason as to why,
The change?
yeah.
I think they just didn't want to go head to head with Supercard.
No, but what was the reasoning for it?
Oh, I didn't see the reasoning.
So essentially, I don't remember off the top of my head, but this is for the fans apparently. So because the fans come in on Saturday, so it's better for them apparently. Those are the words more or less that they use, and I'm like, really, bro?
They said this is for the fans.
Yeah,
If they come in on Saturday, right? That's what they're saying. Why would you make them miss Friday
exactly. Right. Yeah. So, no. See, I'm over here trying to
remember word for word?
No, not remember word for word. Trying to help them out, but yeah, no, seriously, like, it's just keep it 100. You didn't want to compete. You were scared that that NXT might not hold up against Supercard.
You didn't want to play that game.
I mean, honestly, I think NXT could have held its own against Supercard. I truly do. Now, in regards to like Raw, SmackDown, no.
As you were saying, I get it on the business aspect of like you don't want to be a direct contact competition to somebody and potentially lose because they have the same crowd. I could see people edging more towards Supercard only now because at Supercard you get to see New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers that you don't usually get to see because they're across seas. So now they're coming to the States for one day. Like this is your shot to see some of your favorites.
See, but I understand that. But there's a lot of people that are still like WWE loyalists, right?
Yeah.
And
NXT loyalists more than anything.
And on top of that, remember for back in Mania this past year, and it was whatever, I forget whatever event was going on, Ring of Honor, and it was like kind of this toss-up. Were you going to go to that, or were you going to go to TakeOver until TakeOver came out with the ladder match and all that? And it was like, oh, nah, we're going to TakeOver. Right. So TakeOver can easily just do that. You know, the NXT has that ability.
Right.
If it was the other, like the other shows, I would, I'd kind of be, a little skeptical myself. But that's, like, again, this was a time that they were afraid of competition. They would go head to head.
Not now.
That's
especially
crazy.
In New York when you're going to have all these people from all around the world come to see your product.
That's really unfortunate. That's just like...
And you're afraid they're going to go see somebody else that one day.
Yeah, like you're really punking out.
The other excuse was they're trying to give the superstars a rest between the Takeover and WrestleMania, so that Hall of Fame night is basically a night off kind of thing for them.
So how about you give them more, like, if you worried about rest, give them a break. You have them on so many live shows every week. Like, come on.
I've heard
stop
that.
it.
I'm like, oh, are you serious?
That's corny.
Okay.
Anyway,
The man is back on top again. Where's my button?
don't turn it over. Remember, you gotta cut it off because it's long.
I like it.
I like it too, but you gotta cut it off. The man is on top again. Becky Lynch has become the first woman to top ESPN's WWE Power Ranking.
Mhm.
She beat out the other man, Seth freaking Rollins.
Yep, he was at number 2. And
Like
then-
his new shirt?
yeah, I was at first when I seen it, I seen Seth freaking Rollins. I'm like, what does that N stands for? I'm like, oh, freaking. Because it's like if I'm reading like this,
Honestly, I didn't know what it meant until I read the comments and someone says Seth freaking Rollins. I was
Right.
like, oh.
like I seen the freak, I'm like, F, okay, Seth freaking Rollins. I'm like, all right, we back to N. What is that?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to read it like this, left to right.
And then we have Daniel Bryan at 3, McIntyre at 4, and Ronda Rousey at 5. This is very more so believable than what the WWE brings up.
Right?
Actually, wasn't we supposed to do this, our ranking starting December 5th? It's in our notes. Nope. Yep, we were. And of course.
But you know what? We should Friday when we do our link up, we should actually do we probably have to sit down and powwow like the best matches of the year and do a countdown.
Becky also announced on her Twitter that her Royal Rumble Access VIP ticket sold out in 90 seconds. Do you believe that? Do you believe that?
Yeah.
The reason why I believe it and I don't believe it because it's like for iPlay, like it's sold out now for this Friday, tomorrow. It didn't sell out that quick. So that's why I'm like, did it really sell out that quick? But
Well,
then I don't understand more people around the country or whatever is gonna go to Royal Rumble. I don't. Maybe it's not 90 seconds. Maybe it was a little bit, like maybe a couple.
Maybe.
Minutes, I don't know.
But like,
I'd go.
yeah, but I think that it was more so again, like you said, it's during Royal Rumble time. It probably promoted more than I Play America.
No, they didn't really promote it like that. But anyway, newlyweds confirmed.
Yeah, apparently Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. Aleister Black was dating for a bit, and they got married this past week, and it was told to the guys and girls of the locker room during TV tapings.
Good for them. Congratulations.
Yeah, give them a nice little.
A moment of bliss. Your girl Alexa Bliss, apparently, Mark Henry said she is clear for in-ring competition. Are you excited? Don't look excited.
Not excited. Because they know that glass ceiling was talking about doubles.
Well, it's good that she's healthy.
Yes.
You never want to wish any type of
No. Definitely
injury
not.
on anyone. So it's a good thing that she's free of her concussions and what have you. But I don't think she should just be injected immediately
Right.
and pushed. She had her time this earlier this year and last year. It's time to see what other people can do.
Yeah,
Right?
but it's Raw, and we know how that's going to go.
Yeah. So
Was this a farewell for Rhino? He lost his match against Heath Slater this past week, where the loser has to get fired. And apparently, after the cameras went off, went to commercial, he announced his retirement to the live crowd.
wow.
So I just wanted to put that out there. He had a 20-year career. I definitely remember him at ECW. I remember him coming over to WWE, and that's one of my favorite wrestlers. Not like top, 10 or whatever, but like I enjoyed his work. So
It's just funny you put it there because I immediately thought that all of a sudden Heath Slater and Rhino ran the match.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it automatically just led me to believe that he was retiring, and it
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be Heath that was gonna get
Right.
fired. So well, job well done, sir.
I wonder if they can really make Heath Slater a referee now.
I don't know. Baron Corbin's a jerk.
So this past week was Raw's highs and lows. Raw this week brought a .81 rating with a 2.286 million views, which is up 2% in ratings, but down 3 in viewership.
Wow.
The viewership marks the lowest for the series from the past several years.
Again, it's not a good product. Now you have things such as Monday Night Football. You got basketball. And,
Arrow.
Okay. You
I
know,
watch TV, so.
all this stuff that's going on, and then you're not putting on competitively, a good show. People are not going to tune in. And you saw all on Twitter and social media in general that people were not happy with the show.
There
It
wasn't?
wasn't a good show.
And they weren't. And it's just, I don't know. There's something missing with Raw. And that sucks.
And it goes back to, I don't know if I discussed it with you last week or whoever. For whatever reason, when I go to Raw shows, I have more fun.
You said it on the show. We said it on the
I
show.
have more fun when I go to Raw shows. SmackDown, even though it's currently a better product, I don't have fun there. It's just a different vibe, like you said, especially with the lighting and
the
all
colors
that stuff,
and stuff
the
like
colors
that.
and stuff like that. But that said, Raw isn't good. And then remember the picture that I texted you and you saw. And we've never seen Raw like that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. And
It was like SmackDown.
Yeah, and I text, when you said to me, I told her, like, yeah, they told me that the entire hard camera side was empty and they tarped off the entire top.
When's it you've ever heard that with Raw? Ever.
And you can see with how they try to do the camera tricks with it.
Yeah.
And then you look on the ring side, on the camera side, the first row was filled, but rows 2 and 3 was empty. I'm like, it was like a quick glimpse. I was like, yeah, this junk is empty. Like, what's going on?
And Houston at that.
And Houston.
Yo, I just don't understand. It's just like, like, don't you feel some type of way that this is the A show, right?
And
the flagship show.
And I feel bad for the wrestlers because they have to play to that side,
Yeah.
and there's nobody to play to.
That's crazy.
And I know a few people that actually boycotted the show this week because of what happened last week. It was just like, yo, I'm not even wasting my time.
I mean, I think we said it numerous times. We would boycott the product if we weren't doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And I mean, things. I don't see it changing until you affect them where it hurts the most, and that's their pockets.
Yeah.
With such as like WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania sold, especially here, sold out really, really quick.
Right.
Or tickets sold really quick in general, and it's just like you can't complain about the product, but then let them up the price and you're still buying it.
Right.
So I don't know when things are gonna change, but we gotta, as fans, have to stand our ground.
So let's go into our debate question. This past week, I seen on Daily DDT, they posted up that one of the writers wrote that if Sasha Banks had a shot,
Where's the trading cards?
You had them. Yeah, she has the trading cards before we go into our debate.
So we got the trading cards, right?
Right.
Miles gave us trading cards.
Shout out to Miles.
Shout out to him. Let's see who we have. We have Neville, Brock Lesnar.
That's my guy. That's me.
Damien Mizdow, Undertaker, KO.
That's my guy too.
Dusty Rhodes, and Big Show. So, trading cards.
Thank you,
sir.
Miles.
But hey, we have to wrap it up.
So we have to wrap it up. They talked about Sasha Banks. They said if she had the same shot as Becky Lynch, she would prosper just as much. Do you agree? Yes or no?
What was the question?
Basically, they said in the article, if Sasha Banks had a shot just like Becky Lynch did, she would prosper just as much.
Absolutely, because just her character was already over from NXT, right? We all love the boss, and it was just something we hadn't seen from a woman wrestler.
Right.
Granted, I don't think maybe her on the mic skills would be as like Becky's is currently, but just her gimmick and her persona and the swag, absolutely. I mean, we all want her to get a push. We all want her to be a heel. It's just a matter of time. Once they give that to her, it's just she'll take off.
Right.
So
I agree with you on that, and I do think that she would do better on the mic because it's only because she's a heel.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen her mic work in NXT and it is top par.
Yeah.
Like if she's heel and running it, she has a better chance of running that division. I just feel like they need to give her that chance because when she did with Bad, she didn't really get the chance to be the forefront. She was forefront, but she had people with her.
After a while, she
Right.
became in the forefront.
Right,
yeah.
and again, it was Charlotte and Paige and all these other people that it was more focused on. I think if she had the same opportunity, she would definitely kill it.
Yeah, absolutely. But anybody that's watching this knows that we wouldn't
We're
have said otherwise.
our opinions don't really matter.
In regards to
marks
that.
for her, right?
Exactly.
And on that note, that's our show.
That's
Shout
our
out to the WWE shop for these cool sweaters.
Yep.
If you want to purchase one, click on our link over in the description in our YouTube, or you can hit us up on our Instagram and Twitter and click the link at the Mixtag Show at
Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE.
or at Blue Magic Grind, spelled how it sound.
Thank you again for Josiah Williams joining us and letting us interview him. It was definitely an honor to chat with him.
Definitely. And on that note, I bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night.
It's the Mixtag Show. The Mixtag Show. With Jenna
and Blue.
Damn.